Okay, so we have narrowed down the 14 diurnal raptors to 10. Our next group is the accipiters, and there are 3 of them. Accipiters are our forest hunters. They often hunt from a perch, and they launch quickly, and they ambush their prey, chasing them for short distances. These guys have short, rounded wings and very long tails. This design allows for speed and agility for hunting other birds. These are often the birds that hunt at bird feeders. They use speed and maneuverability to outfly other birds through the forest canopy. An interesting note, Red Creek rarely gets in adult accipiters. We do get in a lot of juveniles that crash before perfecting their flight skills. 9 times out of 10, these are also the hawks that get trapped in large buildings, and we have to go in and remove them. Out in the open, they have a flat, flat, flat float type of flight. At first glance, this bird might look like a buteo, but as we watch it fly, you'll soon see the flat, flat, flat float, flat, flat, flat float of an accipiter, which leads us to the second photography tip. If possible, get a video rather than a photo. A video will show the movement and may also flash a momentary field sign, where a photo is a snapshot in time. For accipiters that are perched, the long, narrow tail is a dead giveaway, even from a distance. If you can get close up, accipiters also have long, thin toes when compared to the bulky buteo foot. If you get a clear view of the entire foot, you may see extensions on the bottom of the feet called toe pads. Juvenile accipiters look very much alike. All accipiter juvies are brown and white with similar patterning, making them challenging to tell apart. With the adults, when viewed from the rear, it can be just as difficult. The wings and the back of all 3 are similar colored, being bluish gray, and they all lighten with age. From the front, adults are a little bit more varied, and the chest color varies with the species. Here, the adult goshawks really stand out, and they're quite unique. Both the Cooper's hawk and the sharpshin, however, still look very similar. We are often requested to be able to tell the difference between the sharpshin hawk and the Cooper's hawk. There is a distinct size difference, which I tried to emphasize here in these photos, but a large female sharpshin can be the same size as a small male Cooper's hawk. Eye color is distinctive, with adults who have orange, even reddish colored eyes. Juveniles have a pale or yellow colored iris. The largest of the accipiters is the northern goshawk. As you can see here, the females are distinctly larger than the males. Adult goshawks are a dark slate gray color above with pale gray barring underparts. The juvenile is usually a solid to mildly streaked brown above. They appear to have a bulky body and thick black streaking extending all the way down to the undertail coverts, although there are some variations in undersized color, from nearly pure white to almost entirely overlaid with broad dark cinnamon brown striping. Now, there isn't much danger in misidentifying this adult, but juveniles are often mistaken for a juvenile red-tailed hawk. As you can see here, without careful scrutiny, that could be easy to do. What is unique in this species is the wide eye stripe above the eye, like a light-colored eyebrow. In the adults, the entire head is dark, except for this white stripe, making it look like it has a dark cap and a mask. In the juvenile, the stripe is more of a light tan on a brown-colored face. This is an obvious field sign that cannot be ignored. When perched, the eye stripe, along with other signs of how to tell a buteo and accipiter apart, include the feet and the tail will help. In flight, you're looking for the silhouette of short rounded wings and a long tail, and that flat, flat, flat float pattern. Wing beats of northern goshawks are deeper, more deliberate, and on average slower than that of the Cooper's hawk and the sharpshin. The goshawk with its greater wing area can sometimes be seen steadily soaring. Now I'm going to cover the Cooper's hawk and the sharp-shinned hawks together because they are so often confused with one another. Although the Cooper's hawk is larger than the sharp-shin, their sizes do cross. If you look at the numbers listed here, you can see that a small male Cooper's hawk is comparable in size to a large female. The size can also be difficult to judge, especially at a distance, so I don't use size as a determination. Both have similar colorations in both the adults and the juveniles. Like the goshawk, the adults' backs and wings are slate blue-gray. Both have white breasts and abdomens with dense orange or rusty colored barring. In the Cooper's hawk, the orange barring can extend all the way to the legs. Where the sharp shin, the lower abdomen and legs are often white. However, I've seen the exact opposite, so don't use this for identification either. Field guides also point to the hip structure and the thickness of the legs and a slight difference in the width of the white stripe at the end of the tail. But honestly, these are impossible to discern unless you have two sitting side by side, which you never would because the Cooper's hawk would eat the sharp shin. So here's some tips that work for me, and I think that they will work for you. In flight, the two birds have a different shape. The Cooper's hawk has a larger head, which you can see from above. He also holds his wings straighter back. This makes him look like a flying cross. The sharp shin has a smaller head, and he also tends to extend his wings forward, thus hiding the head more. So it looks like he has a small head in flight. This makes him look like a flying T. Also, the Cooper's hawk has outer feathers of the tail that are shorter than the rest, right here, making the tail look rounded. The sharp-shinned hawk's tail looks sharp or flat, and that's how you can remember. The sharp-shinned hawk has a sharp tail. A good way to remember it. I like to think of Cooper's hawks and sharp-shins like Jack Russell Terriers on methamphetamines. They're really high energy and they're jumpy. In flight, these guys are very flappy, and their flap, flap, float is very rapid. Can you tell which one this is? It has straight wings and the head is forward. The tail tip is rounded. This is a Cooper's hawk. They're also pretty bold and brave. Here's another one. It's chasing a red-tailed hawk. See if you can pick out the shape and identity of the bird. It can be hard to tell, and this film is at 1/4 speed. The actual action was 4 times faster. It's why I really suggest trying to get a video rather than a picture. During one part of the chase, I captured this shot. You can see the wrists leaning forward and the squared off tail. This is a sharp-shinned hawk. Now, there's several ways to differentiate these birds when they're perched. My favorite is the size of the eyes, because this you can see at a distance. A Cooper's hawk feathers on the nape of the neck are often held up. If you've ever heard the term raising your hackles, this is what it's referring to. Many birds do this, but it is really prominent in the Cooper's hawk posture, and it gives them the appearance of having a large flat head. Even when relaxed, the flat head remains. Sharp-shinned hawks have a small round head. They can also raise their hackles, but it doesn't have near the effect. So what does this have to do with the eyes? The large size of the Cooper's hawk gives the eye a normal appearance when compared to the head. It's proportional, nothing special here. However, the small round head makes the sharp-shinned eye look big and bulging, making the eye look too big for its head. While the Cooper's hawk looks fierce, the Sharpie looks surprised. And this works with the juveniles also. And with the adults, the Cooper's hawk has a dark area on the top of the head. The nape or the back of the neck is lighter right here, leaving a distinct division between the dark wings and the dark head. The sharp-shinned hawk has the same coloration, but there's no division. The dark area extends all the way from the brow all the way down the back, and there is no division. So it kind of looks, instead of like wearing a hat, it looks like he's wearing a hoodie. So how do you remember which one wears the hat and which one wears the hoodie? I have a really silly visual game to answer that hopefully will make you remember this. So you have a Cooper's hawk, and it's driving a Cooper convertible, and it's wearing a cap, because the Cooper's hawks wear caps. He goes too fast, and the cap blows off. Standing there, surprised, in a hoodie, is a sharp shin. Okay, so I told you this was silly.